In less than 48 hours, Israel found itself under attack from multiple fronts, courtesy Hamas. But what Hamas may be regretting now is the fact that Israel, in response, has officially declared war against them, a historic move not seen since the 1973 Yom Kippur War. And make no mistake, Israel is determined to see this through the very end. At this very moment, Israel has unleashed a relentless offensive with the Israel Defense Minister imposing a total blockade on Gaza. No electricity, no food, no fuel. The impact is severe and it doesn't stop there. Israel has wreaked havoc in Gaza, launching numerous airstrikes and demolishing critical facilities, including the very site where the attack was meticulously planned. Not to mention the Al Watan Tower, which housed propaganda outlets like Al Jazeera. But here's the thing, Israel has faced the specter of a multi-front war before as well, and those who believe that they have the upper hand shall be in for a rude awakening. Join us today as we understand how, when push comes to shove, it is the enemy who needs to be worried and not Israel. On a fateful Saturday morning, shockwaves reverberated not only through the hearts of Israelites but also across nations when Hamas swooped down upon a peaceful musical festival, unleashing utter chaos and devastation. As we receive the latest updates, the grim toll reveals a stark reality. More than 400 Israelites have lost their lives, while a staggering 1,000 find themselves either injured or stranded. Hundreds more are unaccounted for as they have apparently been held hostage by Hamas. In the face of such tragedy, Israel remains resolute, unwavering in its determination to bring those responsible to justice, regardless of the looming threats from Lebanon and Qatar. However, this is not Israel's first encounter with a multi-front offensive, nor is it the first time that the aggressors have tasted defeat for daring to challenge Israel's resolve. Just as Bharat confronts its adversaries like China, Pakistan, and even Canada today, Israel has been doing that for decades. It wouldn't be wrong to say that Bharat has taken a page from the Israeli playbook when it comes to safeguarding national security. The tale unfolds in the year 1967. The same year, India faced off against China in border skirmishes at Nathula and Chola. Meanwhile, Israel found itself in a crisis along its border with Syria, one of its arch-enemies since its birth in 1948. One of the catalysts for the Six-Day War was Syria's stubborn refusal to allow Israel to utilize the Jordan River as a national water carrier to supply water to its nation. In retaliation, Syria employed the strategic advantage of the Golan Heights, a basaltic plateau soaring 3,000 feet above the Sea of Galilee in the Levant region, to shell Israeli villages and the farms. However, as the clouds of war loomed large, Morocco, under the influential leadership of King Hassan, a prominent figure in the Arab League, decided to surprise the Arab forces on their own turf. At that time, Israel's renowned intelligence agency Mossad had yet to develop its immense capabilities. King Hassan secretly recorded meetings of the Arab League, capturing crucial details about the belligerent nations, including Egypt, Syria, and even Jordan, which initially supported Israel but ultimately betrayed her. Following a relentless six-day struggle in June 1967, Israel dealt a humbling blow to the joint forces of Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and even Pakistan, which perplexingly deployed its air force to support the Arabian forces. Since 1967, anyone daring to challenge Israel has learned their lessons the hard way. Despite this, nations like Egypt, Syria, and later Iran have ventured to invade Israel under various pretexts, only to face a resolute response from Israel. One significant instance akin to recent events occurred during Yom Kippur in 1973, a festive occasion for Israelites that coincided with Ramadan. On this day, joint forces from Egypt and Syria launched an audacious attack. The war concluded in a stalemate somewhat reminiscent of India's position during the 1965 war, where they ultimately had the upper hand. However, like India's experience at the Tashkent summit, Israel had to relinquish their prized Sinai Peninsula with the signing of the 1978 Camp David Accord. Yet, it's worth noting that Egypt subsequently recognized Israel's legitimacy as a state. Now, for those unaware, this is the same Israel that didn't rest until they avenged the heinous murder of 11 Israeli athletes by Palestinian terrorists at the 1972 Munich Olympics. Israel further demonstrated its unwavering resolve by executing a daring raid on the Entebbe airport in 1976, where a hijacked Air France plane with nearly 106 Israeli passengers was held. With support from neighboring Kenya, Israel's Sayeret Matkal commandos, Israel's own version of para-special forces disguised themselves as Ugandan high officials, utilizing the Mercedes-Benz 600 limousines favored by the then Ugandan dictator Idi Amin. With minimal casualties, they rescued almost all the Israeli hostages save 4, apart from the death of Lieutenant Colonel Yonatan Netanyahu, the leader of the commandos. So let it be clear, anyone underestimating Israel does so at their own peril. While caught off guard, Israel has swiftly and mercilessly retaliated against Hamas, reducing a significant portion of Gaza to rubble. The Israeli defense minister has vowed to continue the onslaught until every vestige of Hamas is obliterated. Remarkably, Israel has garnered unequivocal support from the likes of UK, India, and even the UAE during this crisis. Likewise, even Iran, while issuing threats of retaliation if Israel attacks them, has distanced itself from Hamas in the wake of these attacks. It remains to be seen how Israel handles Hamas. But judging by its track record, it won't be long before Hamas officially becomes a footnote in the history.